Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Katie Rowley. I am the Outreach Librarian for the NOAA Central Library, and we are very proud to be hosting this presentation on the NOAA Lantern program today. A few logistics to get out of the way first. As an attendee, you are muted, so you cannot verbally ask any questions, but there is a question panel. Questions will be held until the end of the presentation, so please put them in the question panel throughout the presentation as they come to you, but we will be answering them at the end. Also, since we are recording this presentation, anything you put in the question panel or any comments, those will be recorded and shared with the presenters afterwards, and this is used purely for follow-up. Also, since we are recording, if you do need to step away or you would like to share this with a colleague, the library will be having it up on their YouTube channel shortly after we close this presentation. And lastly, if you have any technical issues, such as you can't see our speakers or the slide deck, or if you can't hear anyone speaking, try logging off and logging back into the GoToWebinar platform. That solves most issues. It doesn't solve all of them. I would recommend you check that audio box in your GoToWebinar platform here, just to make sure that it's not hooked to a Bluetooth or something else. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tracy Levstik to get us started.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you, Katie, for going through those logistics with us. We're really pleased to have you all join us today. We're here to provide you with a briefing on NOAA's Lantern program. And Lantern stands for Leveraging Abilities, Needs, Talents, Energies, and Resources Network. My name is Tracy Levstik. I am the Lantern Director. I work in the Office of Human Capital Services in the Organizational Performance and Learning Division, and I'm duty stationed out in Boulder, Colorado. And I would like to take a moment to have our co-hosts, co-presenters for today introduce themselves as well. Claire, could we have you go next?
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. My name is Claire Surrey Marston. I'm a commander with the NOAA Commissioned Officer Corps. So I work for the Office of Marine and Aviation Operations Line Office. I've been with Tracy since the development and start of Lantern. It's a fantastic program. I'm currently working with the OMAO headquarters in Silver Spring.
Wonderful, Claire. Thanks so much. And Weston.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Weston Thomas. I'm the Training and Development Coordinator in the Human Capital Management Office at NOAA Fisheries. My duty station is the Silver Spring office. That's where I'm currently located today. And I've been with NOAA for almost exactly 1 year today. Thanks.
Wow, congrats. That's a good anniversary, Weston. That's huge. Well, we're glad you're here with us to work through our Lantern deck. So I'm going to start by going over the agenda. Katie, I should ask, can you see the slide deck?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Thank you.
Perfect. So I will start by going over our agenda. Today, we're going to provide you with an overview of the program, some highlights of the program. We're going to pay special emphasis to the new opportunity types that are available within the Lantern platform outside of the traditional part-time and full-time detail opportunities. We're going to introduce you to our points of contact within each line and staff office, as well as contacts in general for the Lantern platform. We're going to talk about creating an opportunity, applying to an opportunity. We're going to provide a spotlight on an available opportunity that you could apply for should you choose to do so. We're going to talk about current statistics in the Lantern platform. How many opportunities have there been? How many applicants? How many completions? That kind of good data. And then we're going to demo our website and our platform, and Katie's going to drop links to those for you in the chat box, so you can get the direct link to the website and to the platform. I recommend that you bookmark those so that they're easy to find and clear. They're also, if you send me an email in my tagline, every email tagline, so if you send me a message, you'll see my email tagline when I respond to you. So we're going to end with Q&A. So as Katie mentioned, any questions that come up at all, when they occur to you, please do type them in that questions pane. And we will get to as many of those as we can in the hour. So without further ado, I am going to invite Claire back on camera to walk through the next portion of the presentation.
Thank you, Tracy. I am excited to be here to speak with you all about the Lantern program. Some of you all might remember what we used to have was the rotational program, and there have been some significant changes to go along with our snazzy new name. So happy to sort of go over the overall changes there. So much like before, it's an agency-wide development program. It was launched in February of 2021, so we're going on a year and a half years old here, so very exciting. Have had a lot of success in that time. It's developed for your employees, really, to give them opportunities to grow, to learn, to lend their energies, as the title suggests, and talents to other offices for really the benefit for all of NOAA. So it could be something that someone's already good at and will be able to help your office for a little while, or they could build brand new skills and knowledge sets. So very diverse program, really. It's set up if there's something that you think you need, some help or some assistance by a professional, or just someone willing to really learn and help. That's what the Lantern program is all about. This will help anybody who applies and people who have applicants coming in, just increase your networking skills. Line office interpersonal relationships are so important, and that's one of the benefits of the program. And also just getting to know what the other line offices do. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say that I was very focused in my operational world until I really got to know a lot of the other line offices, and just am very proud and just continually amazed by all the different work that we do. And the Lantern program is one way to sort of learn what's out there. And again, everybody needs somebody these days. Everyone's a little low on team members. And so if you have an extra seat at the table and you'd like to share or have a need filled, Lantern is a great way to start. So Tracy, I'm ready for the next one. So again, it's leveraging abilities, needs, talents, energies, and resources network. That's what Lantern stands for. The ways that Lantern is different and sort of a better program than it has been in the past is because it is a 24/7, 365-day accessible program. In the past, I know Tracy has had to maintain some pretty extensive spreadsheets, but this is if you think of a need and you can write it down on a Lantern and put it up there for approval. So that's been extremely helpful for us in OMAO, and I'm sure others as well. The program itself is based on USA Jobs. It's called Open Opportunities. So it's a platform you may already be comfortable with and know some about. You may already have a profile in there. And if you've done searches in USA Jobs, you know some of those search profile setups there are really helpful. You could set up a search for a particular keyword and then be notified if something comes up with that keyword. Very handy. There are different opportunity types, one-time, recurring, and special details, either part-time or full-time, and we'll go into a little bit what those all mean. But when you're in there and you're building your own Lantern program, you'll see these as options. Some other sort of improvements to this system are that it's a very simple approval process. It's all done within the platform itself. So your office will identify a need within your office. You're the host office. So you'll go in there, create an opportunity as the host office, and then you'll sort of put it up there for approval with your team member who will meet here in just a moment. Your line office team member will go through the approval process. They're pretty familiar with what to look for. So for example, Occasionally someone will put down that the opportunity type they want is a one-time, but really once we read through the time requirements, it's actually more recurring or detail. So your line office reps are trained to look for those kinds of things and to identify them for you. And then once everything looks good, it's published instantly. It'll be put out there and you can circulate as widely as you need to look for a recruit once that's been posted. It's a pretty simple email, clickable link that will bring you right to the opportunity for to be able to apply. And then once you have decided on a candidate that you like, there's a way that you can see their profile, their resume. You can schedule appointments with them, to meet with them, to interview them. Once you've made that selection, you can go ahead and just click a button and an email will go out. One other thing that's important to note is now we have our forms, our SF52s. If the opportunity is going to be 30 days or longer, and this is basically just so the person gets credit for the work, it will be in their EOPF and just sort of a feather in their cap. And then there's some emails and a process by which we submit those. And that's all on the Lantern website. So the new opportunity types, the one-time opportunities and recurring. So some of the examples of one-time would be you just need someone to throw together a PowerPoint for you for a meeting, or you just need someone to facilitate that meeting. If you want to shadow a leader within NOAA that you admire, things of that nature, very concrete one-time opportunities. For recurring opportunities, it's something that you'll be seeing the person on a few different occasions. Monthly focus groups, newsletters, things of that nature. Next slide. All right, now is the best part. I get to introduce the rest of the team. And so I'd like to have all the coordinators and their backups please turn their cameras and microphones on. So we've got NESDIS, OAR, NOS, NIMS, National Weather Service, and well, Tracy and Weston were already on. Okay, great. Well, to avoid any further delays, I'll just go ahead and introduce folks as they pop on camera. We've got Miss Sloan Preston. Will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Sloan Preston, and I'm your National Ocean Service Lantern Coordinator. I've been doing this with Tracy for forever, so if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Nice meeting everyone.
Great, thank you, Sloan. And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Hammonds. I'm with the NESDIS office. I'm the training coordinator for Lantern here, and I'm out of Silver Spring.
Wonderful, thank you.
Do
I have?
Sorry,
yeah.
Claire.
Oh no, so also for weather service, it's Miss Flanisha Barrett, who isn't on today. And for OAR, it's Cherie Lee. And so those are your points of contacts for line offices. And of course, Fishery Service is Weston, and staff offices are Tracy. So Tracy, would you join us again on camera?
Yes, that's like a pop quiz. Yes, hi everyone. I am your staff and corporate office coordinator.
All right. So we'll go on to the next slide. Okay, and these are the websites that you can click on that will bring you to the internal NOAA links for Lantern. Tracy's done a great job of populating that with frequently asked questions. Your coordinators list are on there. Videos, previous training videos are on there. Really, it's a one-stop shop for all things Lantern, the workflow for the SF52s. So I will also say there is a dedicated email, noaa.lantern@noaa.gov, that Tracy monitors, and it's always being monitored 24/7. So Tracy, I'll hand it back to you.
Wonderful, Claire. Thank you so much. And I did want to mention, if you need help setting up your lanternlogin.gov account, you'll want to email openops@usajobs.gov, not our internal NOAA National Service Desk. So openops@usajobs.gov is who you want to reach out to for assistance with that. We actually have a really handy training video on how to set up your account that Weston will demo for you on our website here in a few moments as well. So moving on to our next slide, I would like to talk to you about creating an opportunity. So we're going to do both, creating and applying. So we'll start with creating an opportunity. So take a moment to think about your own workload or that of your team, branch, or division. And how could creating and filling a lantern opportunity help you to meet your mission and accomplish that hefty workload of your office? And how could that opportunity help to develop NOAA's talent at the same time? So here are some best practices to share with you about how to create that opportunity. I would advise, first of all, that you think about your opportunity from the applicant's perspective, right? What's in it for them? What skills will they gain? How can they grow their network by participating on your opportunity? How can they collaborate across the organization? Is there a training that they could attend? Could they attend a high-level meeting or more? Could they brief high-level audiences about what they're working on? Could they develop meaningful, impactful work products that benefit maybe your office and their office? So really think about it from their perspective. So when they're comparing your opportunity to another opportunity, yours has the carrots in it, right? Yours is the one they want to apply for. The second thing you'll want to do is advertise it widely. So Lantern is like I look at it like a spider web, and we attract a certain amount of traffic to the site. Right now, I think we're at 13 or 1400 members within NOAA. So we do get a certain amount of traffic, but you can take the link that you get to your opportunity and blast that out through email to all of your contacts and through your networks. You can advertise it at your all hands meetings or in your office's weekly publication to really spread the word and get as much candidate traffic as you can pointing to your site. So definitely advertise it as widely as you can. Then on the other side is the applying for an opportunity. So take a few moments to think about your own development and how could participating on a Lantern opportunity help you meet your own professional development goals. You can also use your opportunity to backfill behind yourself while you go out on an opportunity, right? So think about that for a few minutes. And we do have opportunities at all levels, up to the GS15 level. So here are best practices if you are going to apply. The first thing I would say is be proactive. If there's an office that you're interested in the work that they do or a manager you really admire, there is nothing preventing you from approaching them and saying, hey, I think the work of your office is amazing and I'd really like to know more about it. Would you consider advertising a Lantern opportunity to which I could apply? You don't necessarily have to pick me, but I'd love the opportunity to be considered and come do work with you. So you can be proactive and reach out to offices and potential opportunity creators on your own and see if they'd be willing to post an assignment to which you could apply. Another tip is to apply to several. That just increases your chances of being selected. And before you do, you want to develop buy-in, right? You want to build your business case so you have your home office supervisor support for undertaking Lantern detail in the next year. I was really pleased when I reached out to Katie and asked, what's the timing for us? Could we do a Lantern refresher webinar around this time? Because most of you, or I hope all of you, will be meeting soon, if you haven't already, with your supervisor to discuss your performance plan for the upcoming year. And it's an excellent time to say, I'd really like the opportunity to do a lantern when you're having that beginning of the year performance discussion. You can have it anytime you want, but the timing just works out great if you can do it now. So before you do that, you want to build your business case, right? You want to consider the benefits, not only to you, but to your boss, right? What's in it for them if you go out on a 3 or 4 month developmental opportunity? What are the benefits to your program, your branch, and potentially to all of NOAA of you undertaking this opportunity? And sell it from that perspective. Could you cover your own workload using Lantern, where you would advertise a detail, part-time or full-time detail, bring someone in so that you can go out on a detail yourself? So really think strategically about different options. I think one of the beauties about Lantern too, if you do have a really hefty job portfolio, is that you could consider a part-time detail, right? Or an intermittent recurring opportunity, or even a one-time opportunity where you get the flavor of a developmental experience without having to completely shift away from your home office portfolio. So those options are available to you. Next, we're going to have an opportunity spotlight. So I reached out to the 67 opportunity creators who currently have open opportunities on the Lantern website, and Dave Turner graciously agreed to come on board and talk to you about his opportunity. So Dave, if you would join me on camera. And I can't see you, so in my screen, so just let me know when you're here.
I think I'm up.
Perfect, I heard you. Can you, yep, and when you're ready, you can just start speaking about your opportunity. That'd be great.
Sure, yes ma'am. First off, thank you very much for the opportunity to come out here and talk a little bit about our opportunity. So I'm in the OAR, the line office OAR, and we're in the Office of Ocean Exploration and Research, or OER. And we've actually had several Lantern opportunities over the last year or so. We've had several folks cycle through to great success. It's been just a lovely program and has gotten a lot of support in our office. The opportunity that I put up is for a strategy analyst. We have a new strategic plan that we just completed, and we're in the midst of developing an implementation plan for that. And I'd love to have somebody come and spend some time with us researching how our strategy lines up with and supports the strategies across NOAA. So not just to our line office and to the agency, but also across. We have a ocean portfolio group of different ocean-focused R&D organizations that do a variety of things that touch us. We also have lots of connections to other parts of NOAA and different line offices. And having someone that can spend the time to go through and really sort of sort those things out and look for those connections is going to be invaluable. And then on top of that, we want to build some logic models around those connections. And so logic models are just ways of talking about inputs and activities and outputs and all that sort of like detailed stuff about how programs actually work together. And I've done a lot of that, so I would be mentoring them and whoever took the details or teaching them how to do it. And it's valuable stuff. It just takes a lot of time. And so we're looking for someone to help us with those sorts of things. And then I'll also say we have a second opportunity for a policy analyst, so someone who would come through and help us develop and shape policy. And that's an opportunity that was developed by our deputy director for the office, but that's up at the same time. So we have a couple of different things going on within OER right now. And I'd be delighted to answer any questions that anybody ever had in terms of more details or anything specific about the tasks at hand.
Well, wonderful, David. Thanks so much for sharing that and being part of our spotlight. We really appreciate it. And at this point, David and I are going to turn off our cameras, and I'm going to welcome Weston back on to lead us through the next portion of our presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy. I would like to just at this time give you all a quick snapshot of some of the opportunities that we currently have open across our line offices. So the graphic that you're looking at here is the distribution of currently open opportunities on the Lantern platform across each of the line offices. For those of you that aren't familiar with some of the acronyms, the SOCO or SOCO up on the top left are our staff office opportunities. And those range from a number of different offices at any given point in time. But this is our current distribution. We have 67 opportunities currently open on Lantern. And these numbers change day to day. These are the most recent numbers of as of last week, but if you check the Lantern platform today, you'll notice that the numbers have already changed because we have some new opportunities that have been published and posted from a number of different line offices. So my biggest piece of advice is to check open opportunities and the Lantern platform frequently, because almost consistently every week there are new opportunities being published and posted. Just some additional stats to date. We have actually about 401 total opportunities that have been published. Of those 401, there have been 43 one-time opportunities posted, 35 recurring, and then 112 part-time detail opportunities and 211 full-time detail opportunities. So to date, there have been a lot of different opportunities, and those whether they've been details or some short-term or one-term opportunities, they have ranged drastically in the skills that they're searching for and just overall work that they're looking to fill. So a lot of really interesting things that pop up throughout different offices. So the slide that you're looking at right now are the opportunities that are currently in progress. There are 100 that have been that are open, which means that there are applicants currently detailed to those positions and are currently filling in some sort of role. Because some opportunities may have more than one participant, the total number of employees that are actively participating right now may actually be more than 100. To date, we've had over 770 applications in total to Lantern opportunities, and there have been 365 applicants that have been selected for opportunities. All right, next slide. So on this slide are the completed opportunities. So we've had 67 that have been completed right now, but to date, there have been 132 applicants that have completed opportunities. And Tracy referenced this earlier, but we have over 1,400 current members as part of the Lantern program. So that's a great number. We'd like to see the number go even higher as you're, if you're interested in either applying for an opportunity or just seeing what's available, create a profile and take a look on Lantern. All right, so the next slide, we're gonna go through just a quick demo of the Lantern resources page. So we're not going to spend a ton of time here and going through every single link on here because there's a lot of resources, but first and foremost, if you haven't already, bookmark this page so you have it handy. This is kind of your one-stop shop for getting questions answered and finding some really important information about the Lantern program, as well as the contacts and finding how to reach out to your coordinator for your respective office if you do have questions. So the contacts page there, that is pulled up. It's got everyone's names and emails. If you go to the training tab on the left side of the page, this is maybe one of the more informative parts of this page if you're new to Lantern. I would highly recommend taking a look at the videos that were created. Tracy and a number of other staff put this together at the launch of the Lantern program back in 2020 and or 2021, and they're really, really valuable. I've taken a look at them myself, and if you click on the video link or the slide deck, you're able to sort of see the content for logging in and how to actually create a profile. There's some really great information on creating an opportunity, as well as how to search the Lantern platform as well. Lantern is built into open opportunities, but there's a little bit of nuance when creating your profile because it's synced with USA Jobs. So it's a sort of part of the same platform. But if you're curious about how to apply, as well as selecting applicants and closing out opportunities, all of that information is found there. There's another tab for open opportunity creators. And if you're curious about creating an opportunity and publishing it on Lantern, that tab has a lot of really great information On the types of commitments, as Claire had mentioned earlier, there are one-time opportunities, recurring, or there's detail opportunities. So this is a place where you kind of get that all broken down. What do those opportunity statuses mean? How do you post it to the platform? How you select an applicant, and then eventually closing out those opportunities as well. And if you're an applicant, if you click on that applicant tab, there's some really helpful information on how to apply directly to an opportunity, what each of those statuses mean, and also how to search for an opportunity within Lantern. Once you create a profile on open opportunities, you're able to also build out a range of different skills that you have or positions that you might be interested in, and you're able to filter the opportunities based off of the skills you've listed and interests that you have as well. You can also set up on your profile updates so that any new opportunities that are published that might relate to a certain skill set or interest that you have, you'll get notifications as well. And then a couple other tabs, the Lantern Forms is maybe one of the other pages that I utilize the most frequently. When people have questions, I oftentimes are directing them here because we have some really helpful information on creating the opportunities. Towards the top, there's the SF52 process and a workflow. So any of those details that are 30 days or longer require an SF52. And there's a sample template so you know how to fill it out and who needs to be notified in order to get the SF52 on a detailee's EOPF file. There's also a Lantern Learning Agreement, which is an optional form that you can complete that sort of outlines the work and responsibilities of that opportunity. And that's for both the participant, their supervisor, as well as the host office. And there's also an evaluation form for the host supervisor to be able to, sort of detail what was accomplished during that opportunity. And that can go back that could be saved, at least for the participant, for their performance evaluation at the end of the year, to have a record of some of their responsibilities. And then last but not least, on that page, you'll find some of the fillable forms, which are really helpful. You can basically enter all of the information for your opportunity as you're building it out on one of those fillable forms, so that once you've created a profile and you've set up your open opportunities platform to create it, you can just copy and paste all of the information over. So it makes it pretty easy to follow along. And then the FAQs tab on the left side, again, probably one of the most frequently used parts of this website. If you have questions about the Lantern program, they're probably answered somewhere in the FAQs. There's a lot of really great information with some drop downs on each topic. So again, if you haven't bookmarked this page, definitely recommend bookmarking it so you have it handy and taking a look at the Lantern resources page if you have questions. And if there's something that's not answered on there, feel free to reach out to your respective Lantern coordinator for your office. With that, I'll hand it back over to Tracy.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Weston. And now's a really good time for you all to enter questions into that questions pane. We have one last part of our demo. I am going to demo how to log in to the Lantern platform and walk you through what that looks like. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please do put them into that questions pane and we'll get to as many of them as we can. So this is the login pane for login.gov. It says USA Jobs at the top. And what you want to do, we tend to recommend people use their personal email address. So you can see I rock it old school with my Hotmail. And then I will put in my password. And mine computer is set up to always send me a one-time passcode. We'll see if that does today. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do that again. All right, and I'll turn my camera off while I'm demoing the platform so that you can Here we go. If you get that whoops page, you just click it again and it will let you in. Yay. So just knock on the door a few times and you will be able to get in. Sometimes it makes me, sends my cell phone a one-time passcode. If that happens, just enter the passcode that you're sent and you will be able to access. So when you come into the site, you'll see your name here at the top. So this is your landing page, right? If I scroll down, I can see here opportunities to which I've been invited to apply. To date, I have not been invited to apply, nor have I participated on any opportunity, but I have been a creator of opportunities. So I've advertised 4. I canceled one where I didn't find a fit for that opportunity. I've hosted 3 people on different opportunities, and you can see their completion dates there. So what I'm going to do now is go down here to the community, NOAA's Lantern, and you can see right now it says we have 64 opportunities available this moment, as of this very moment. So this is your landing page. And what you can do is click this button right here to create an opportunity if you want to start that process, or you can begin a search, right? When you develop your profile, you're going to put in certain keywords. And based on the keywords that you select, it's going to sort the available opportunities by best match, better match, and good match, right? So your best match are going to be up at the top. That's what you'll see. And again, that's based on keywords you enter in your profile. You're welcome to apply to any of these that you want, even if it just comes up as a good match. But I like that feature that it's looking at your keywords, what's important to you in terms of your skill set. And you can scroll down here. So the first detail I'll just click on and open is the Chief of Staff for Science and Research, right? And they're looking for a full-time detail, 120 days or later. It's virtual, or you can be in Miami, Florida. They are negotiable whether or not they'll pay for your travel to get down there. And you can either post a comment if you want to start a discussion, like I'm interested in this, you know, how could we figure out X, Y, and Z, right? You could do that here. You can also reach out directly to the opportunity creator who's up here at the top, right? So if you want to apply, you can hit apply and it'll take you to the place where you can start linking your resume and entering your statement of interest. So that is one way to go about that. And you can go back to your results here. Next, I wanted to show you how to set up search filters. So you see this little flag here that says save this search, right? So you can look for opportunities that are open. I recommend the ones that are in progress, probably not so much. You could say, I just want my best matches. And you could save this search and title it best matches, right? And hit save. And then what the system will do is it'll send you new ones that are published directly to your email, and you'll receive a notification when a best match comes in. You can also say, you know, I'm in the staff offices. Geez, I really would love to do some work with fisheries, right? And I can't go out on a detail, unfortunately, but I could do a one-time or a recurring, right? So I could do either of those, and you could save this one as fisheries possibilities, right? And hit save this search. So that's some ways that you can search, and then those you can set up to 10 filters. And then if there aren't any opportunities that match your filter, you can delete the pings here. You can get rid of those. And the more pings you get rid of, the more opportunities you'll see because you're not being as specific. You definitely want to look at opportunities within NOAA's Lantern. This is for NOAA employees only. So we want to search and filter through here. And that's the looking side, right? When you're looking to apply. If you want to create, you come over here to the create button, and you definitely want to do for federal employees and hit continue. And you're going to start by defining the title. It's 100 characters. If you want to post it to a specific community, we always want you to say yes to that. And the drop-down menu, you'll pick NOAA's Lantern, right? It automatically populates my office line office and program office. But if you were posting for someone else, so say for example, you are a staff office employee, but you're posting a position for fisheries, you can change that, right? If you need to. How many people do you need? You can select 1 person, 2 to 5 people, or 6 or more people. The occupational series is an optional field, but you're welcome to put that in, or several different occupational fields if that suits. And here's where we get to that part where Claire mentioned can cause a little confusion. Some people say, I want a detailee one time, right? They're going to come for 4 months, so I need them one time. And so these terms get a little confusing. One time is something really that's 40 hours or less of work. So I had someone come in on a one-time opportunity to look at some evaluation results and bring me the 3 top recommendations from those past evaluation results. That took about 40 hours of work. That was a one-time opportunity. Recurring, as Claire mentioned, would be like, I want someone to come in and write a weekly newsletter that I can send out to my staff. So I'm going to need 8 hours of someone's time once a month. I'm going to have all the articles and things kind of in a folder. I'll send it to them 8 hours a month. They're going to populate that for me and send it back to me over a year-long period. So that would be recurring. A detail, again, is the more traditional route, part-time or full-time. So you have those options. And based on what you select, different drop-down menus will open. Okay, so you want to limit the participation to no employees. I highly recommend putting in a start date and a completion date, even though these are not required. It just gives people a sense of when you're looking for someone. You can write in the description of your opportunity if you're flexible about these, right? You want to make sure also not to set a start date that's already passed. I recommend going out at least a month, right? That lets your opportunity be open for about 2 weeks and gives you about 2 weeks to select candidates before they start. 6 weeks is even better if you can afford that time. And then the estimated completion date. And you can update these. So after the person starts, if you said, you know what, we're going to finish early, or I need to extend the person with permission from their home office supervisor, you can do that. And you say, are they going to be virtual or in person? If you try to hit continue without doing this, it'll make you, right? It'll say you've got to have these fields. So I can do that quickly, is just make some selections here so that I can show you the next screen. I'm going to say, we'll say Denver. And we're going to save and continue. Did I miss it? Let's see. Okay, come on, baby. Well, for whatever reason, it is not saving and continuing, but believe me, it will when you're doing this. It may be because I entered junk in here. But it'll walk you through. It's easy peasy. And as Weston mentioned, we do have those fillable documents on the website so that you could literally cut and paste in here. The other thing I wanted to mention is that you can assign a co-owner to your opportunity. Once you're in there creating it, you can do that. The benefit of identifying a co-owner is that they can also help make selections and communicate with your people who are applying to your opportunity. If you happen to get sick or be out for an extended period, it's nice to have a co-owner designated for your opportunity as well. So that's a few tips and tricks in the platform. I'm going to get back to you all here. And we are happy at this point in time to answer any questions that anyone may have. So I'd invite Claire and Weston back on camera with me. I'll stop sharing my screen. And if there are any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tracy, Weston, and Claire, and all of your office program managers out there for joining. We do have several questions. I think this one should go first, just so we're all on the same playing field. Do you have a limit to NOAA? And I believe they're asking who is eligible to participate.
Oh, that's a great question. Weston, do you want to take the first one? Or do you want me to?
Go for it, Tracy.
Okay, so that's a great question. Anyone at NOAA can create an opportunity. That includes feds and contractors, full-time employees, part-time employees. Only feds can apply to opportunities. So contractors can create, but only feds can apply. We'd love to see every NOAA employee, federal employee, have an account. That to me, if I woke up with that accomplishment, I would lead with that on my performance narrative for sure. So we encourage you to go in and set up an account. Everyone's welcome.
Awesome. Okay, our next question. Can you apply to Lantern opportunities that are outside of your current GS or CAPS level? For example, if someone is in the GS scale and they're a 12, can they apply for a GS 13 opportunity?
That's a
I can
great
take this
question.
one.
Okay, good, Weston.
Sure. So the answer to that, the short answer is yes, you can, but you cannot get a temporary promotion. So you would maintain your same pay that you have been hired on in your permanent position, but you can work in a Lantern position that is at a higher pay grade. You just won't get a temporary promotion.
And what I would do if you're interested in that, and that happens quite frequently, make sure you specify in your interest statement that you know you're currently employed at such and such level, but you're looking to stretch and grow into this body of work and why you think you'd be a great candidate. So make sure that you emphasize that. This is a developmental employee development program, so we do encourage you to try to stretch and grow through the program. Great question.
I'm going to ask them kind of the reverse of that. So if someone is, say they're in the CAPS program and they're a ZP4, but they see something for a ZP3, is that allowed for them to, kind of move down in that?
What do you think, Weston?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one too. And the answer is yes, you definitely can. So yeah, there is no limitation on that. If it's a different pay grade, lower than the one that you're currently in your position, that's okay too.
Yep, and for that, I would just encourage you when you're developing your business case for your supervisor, explain why this is really important that you undertake this. What new skill will you gain? What network will you gain? What are you looking to learn through the experience so that they'll support your participation? Great questions.
Awesome. Okay, and this one's a kind of related to moving up or down. I'm hoping you guys understand what they mean because I'm having a little difficulty. So the question is, do we need to have a classified PD for the opportunities for the level of the detail?
So
I'm gonna
I
let
can
you take that, Tracy.
You need a signal like So that's a really good question. For each detail that's 30 days or over, you'll develop, in addition to the SF52, a description of duties, right? Unclassified duties. They can be brief, it can be in bullet form or a paragraph, talking no more than 2 paragraphs worth of text. It doesn't have to encompass an entire PD, right? So the people I've brought over to do work with me, it's a chunk of work, right? I want you to, part of my job is evaluating my programs and making recommendations to improve them. Sometimes I don't have time to do that. So I bring on Lantern detailees who are also more objective than I am, right? Because I am partial to my programs and how they run. So I bring in people from outside to look at those evaluations and bring me the results. So it's a portion of my own PD. It's not by any means the entirety of my PD. It's just a description of what I want them to do. And then that accompanies the SF52, the initiation 52 when it's submitted to my colleagues in Client Services Division of OHCS via that email that we have for that SF52 inbox. So I hope that answered it. If not, feel free to write more in the questions pane and Katie will revisit it for us.
Yes, exactly. Okay, moving on. Is it appropriate to post a lantern opportunity to find someone with certain skill sets to backfill a position while you're waiting for the lengthy federal hiring process to complete?
All right, I got this one. I think this is a perfect opportunity to be able to do that. That's Lantern is really a program designed for being able to fill in gaps and help out your team where you need, when you need. So while you're waiting to, fill in a position permanently, and you're waiting on that lengthy hiring process, developing a Lantern opportunity is a great way to get that extra person power to fill in where needed and until you have someone on board.
Awesome. A few more kind of the folks applying for these opportunities questions. How is the detail documented in an employee's personnel record?
That's great. It's on that 52. So that when you go and apply for your next job or promotion, you'll be able to pull a copy of your initiation 52. If there's an extension beyond 120 days, you can pull that, and then the termination 52 as well, so that the beginning and end date of the detail are documented, as well as that description of duties, what you did on the detail. And that's part of why I'm so thrilled about Lantern. I'm just probably the hugest fan of the platform, because we have that now in place, right? Where you have that official documentation that you can take with you throughout your federal career.
Great. Okay. Speaking of SFs, there's a question. Is there an SF50 generated for the Lantern detail, or is it just the SF52?
Weston.
Well, I'm only aware of the SF52 because these are non-classified duties and would get on the, again, be included on the EOPF for someone, but so no, there is no SF50.
Great. Who covers the costs, the pay, training, if there's travel? Who is paying for that?
That's a great question. I'll kind of take that in two parts. First, obviously during the time frame of the pandemic, all of our details were virtual, remote, right? Now we're seeing some come back to being either in person or virtual. So there's before the pandemic, it was about 50-50 opportunities that were virtual. Now I would say it's about 75 or 80% of the detail opportunities are still virtual, which is great given the geographic dispersedness of NOAA's workforce, that you can be in Alaska and do an assignment with Miami, right? With a Miami office. I just love that flexibility. In that case, there really are no costs, right? You remain an employee of your home office. Your home office continues to pay your salary and benefits. We do encourage participants on a Lantern not to accrue comp or credit hours while on their details, because your home office pays, right? They're paying your salary and benefits. So if they're paying you for credit hours or comp time and you're not actually doing the work of that office, that could be an issue unless you get prior approval. Maybe it's a mutually beneficial project. But I would in general just recommend not doing that. Don't accrue comp or travel. If you are located in Seattle and you're going to do an assignment in Washington, D.C., that office may have funds to bring you for travel expenses, per diem, lodging, etc., or they may not. So that's something to discuss with the office, or perhaps you can do the assignment virtually. I recommend using the learning agreement to document any cost issues to make sure everyone's on the same page. Again, that form's on the form section of the Lantern website. And you sign that, your host office supervisor and your home office supervisor sign it. So you're all on the same page regarding costs and what the expectations are. And that's a great question.
Yes, and it's a perfect segue in the last 5 minutes to our questions from the creator side of it. Can a Lantern position offer overtime? I'm thinking of a position that would have a C duty aspect to it.
Yes, and I think that flows right into that answer I just gave. I would talk to, you certainly could advertise it that way, but you'd need to talk to the participant's home office supervisor to see if they're amenable to that, right? Or perhaps there's a way you could work out the overtime being covered by your office outside of Lantern, if that's possible. Otherwise, they would accrue the cost. Good
Great,
question.
thanks. So if they're looking to create a Lantern opportunity, should they still log into USA Jobs using their personal email address?
The good thing about using your personal email address is that will be with you forever, right? While we hope you stay with NOAA forever, you may not. And so if you've tied your USA Jobs login.gov to your NOAA address, you'll have to start over when you go to your next agency. So it's just easiest and cleanest to tie it to your personal email address. And as Weston mentioned, it's login.gov, it's like a brain, right? And half of it is USA Jobs, the other half is Lantern. So USA Jobs is for jobs, right? You are looking to get a new permanent position of record, whereas Lantern and Open Opportunities is employee development. So they go hand in hand, but it's important to know when you're in Lantern, you're not applying for a permanent position, you're applying for a developmental opportunity. And if you
Great,
get,
thank you.
and if you get stuck, we don't want that to be the doorway that you end at. You just send an email to that openops@usajobs.gov and say, I'm stuck, or hey, I did this wrong, help me, right? And they will straighten it out for you.
Great. Next question about creating. Does the co-owner of this opportunity have to be within your same line office?
The answer would be no, but they do have to have a profile. So we get that question a lot. So if I'm going in and I'm trying to select John Doe, and I know him, I've physically met him, you know, I want him to be my co-owner. If he hasn't created a profile, I won't be able to get to him to select him as a co-owner. So you need to make sure whoever you want to be a co-owner knows that and that they've created their profile. Good question.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy and Weston. That is the end of the questions I have, and it's pretty perfect because we've just got about 2 minutes left. So I'll turn it back to you, Tracy or Weston, if you have any last words or anything you would like to leave folks with.
Weston, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for the time today, and for all of you who are able to join. If you have any questions, like I said, make sure that you go to that Lantern resources page, check out who your contacts are for your respective line office, and feel free to reach out at any point in time if you have any questions. We're happy to help. Thanks.
Perfect. And I'd like to thank Weston and thank Katie and thank Claire. Claire's internet went out. She feels very badly. She says her farewells to you all. She's sorry about that. Sometimes the gremlins get us, but we do our best to navigate the IT. And if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. That is what we're here for, your coordinators, is to help answer questions, make this as easy as possible for you. So thank you to Katie and the library. We really appreciate your time and all of you taking time to join us today. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.